Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gold Rush Football Podcast with Larry, and I still remain your favorite podcaster, Olanrewaju Abodurin. If you are watching this is the first time we'll be back on Gold Rush Football TV. It's been a long time, and then we're sorry for not dropping episode back to back, but we're back again. And today I have Wale here with me. Wale is also a co-host on Gold Rush Football Podcast. He's always with us on Gold Rush Football Podcast, and also on Gold Rush Football TV. He's also behind the scene. He's a backroom staff, on Gold Rush Football TV. Good to have you back, Wale. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk sport here.
Right. I have Sam here. Sam is back. We're back again, Sam.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a new year. Happy New Year's to everyone. It's good to be finally back.
Also, we have Pius on the line. Pius is online with us. Pius is my co-host on Gold Rush Football Podcast. Pius, how you doing now?
Very fine, Larry, and regards to Sam and Wale in the studio. Good to be here.
Yeah, let's start from one place, and we'll be starting from Liverpool. Liverpool against the match between Liverpool and Manchester City. This is this is going to be the last game between the two tacticians, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. After 8 years, Jurgen Klopp's 8 years in EPL, I guess with Pep Guardiola, I guess it's 6 years. And they've had some couple of games together, and it's always much entertaining when these two sides meet. The two tacticians met today. It ended. Liverpool won. Manchester City won. Wale.
Oh well, the two coaches have been rivals since their days in the Bundesliga. They have played about 29 games before today, and Jurgen Klopp being the only manager to have beaten Pep Guardiola more in world football. He has 12 wins to Guardiola's 11, and they have 6 draws between them. Plus today makes it 7 draws. So I think Jurgen Klopp is living with his head high. It's unfortunate that the EPL is losing a caliber of Jurgen Klopp. It's a loss to the EPL because even the neutrals, it's a big loss.
It's a loss to Liverpool.
To the EPL. I mean, I understand Chelsea. I understand that you've not been lucky, having a good coach. But it's a loss. When Mourinho left, it was a loss because it changed the whole mentality, of everything. Everybody knew it's time to spend. When it's time to get good players, you spend and you get results. But the game was actually entertaining, good end-to-end stuff.
Right.
Liverpool players showed character. Anfield has always been electrifying atmosphere, and Manchester City too. They came with a mentality to win. They don't want to give in to the Anfield factor. They were like, if you guys are not careful today, we're going to win you. But I think overall, Liverpool really showed their mettle, and they got a point, which is well deserved and which would go a long way in their title challenge.
Sam,
Yeah.
Manchester City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Who is going to go into the dressing room? Who's going to be the happiest side right now? Is it Manchester City or Liverpool?
I think
Going with the way the game ends today.
Yeah, I think from my view, with the way the game changed.
Because right now, Liverpool are second in the EPL, together with joint with Arsenal,
yeah.
and Man City are third.
I think with the way the game ended, Pep Guardiola will be going in the room and
As a happy man.
Yeah, with the 1 point, he will be very, very grateful because Luis Diaz could have closed that game. 2 goals ahead. That would have been 3-1, and the game would have been done. And Man City will have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out how they can come back against Arsenal, and which is going to be difficult because with the form and the table, it's just going to make it harder. So I think. With the fixtures ahead in line for Man City will take this, point over none at all. And, and then I think this game also emphasizes, the character within the Liverpool team. Even despite the injury woes, they were able to line up a team that could confront, a world champion. Speaking of a team that just won the treble, it's no small feat. Considering these factors, I think it was a game that was very, very exciting. It was one of the best games of the season for me. And I think, Liverpool showed their character, and also Man City will be grateful for the draw.
Wow. Pius, with this game that ends in 1-1, Manchester City and Liverpool, who is more likely to win the league? I mean, we saw a very good performance from Liverpool at the second half. Manchester City were all out and guns blazing in the first half. But Liverpool came back in the second half. They showed who they are. I don't know what Jurgen Klopp told the guys, but I mean, it was a very good performance for Liverpool at the second half, especially the last 20 minutes of the game. It was all Liverpool. They stretched City. With this performance, who is more likely to win the league? Manchester City or Liverpool? Pius.
Well, for who is more likely to win the league, I would say, before I even answer your question, I heard Wale say the Jurgen Klopp's departure will be a loss to the Premier League. I don't think it will be a loss. I think, in fact, the Premier League made Jurgen Klopp who he is today.
Wow.
The Premier League showed Jurgen Klopp to the world. Before coming to the Premier League, the biggest club he has managed in his life was Borussia Dortmund, I beg, if I'm not mistaken. And then came to the Premier League and then he showed who he is.
I think he got to the final, the UEFA Champions League
final. That is so not true.
I
disagree with that.
One domestic cup title to each and then the Champions League.
I disagree with that.
I don't think because big managers, in fact, bigger managers have all come to the Premier League. Is like the biggest league where every manager, every player wants to play in. So I don't think it's a loss per se to the Premier League. I think it's a loss to Liverpool, like Sam rightly said, and Liverpool would miss him. Having said that, to the game today that happened, I think the better side, obviously, Liverpool were the better side. On the day, they showed character. They showed why they are title contenders, and they showed why they will win the league, because I think they will win the league. I fancy them to win the league. Again, they played against a disjointed Manchester City side, and I think for me, if I'm answering your question directly, Liverpool straight up.
Liverpool straight up. Well, looking at the game, Wale, we saw the goal. The first goal came from John Stones from the corner kick through KDB. That reminds me of the Champions League against Barcelona, Liverpool-Barcelona. The goal which Trent Alexander-Arnold, provided an assist for Origi. There was some Liverpool fans are still fuming with that goal that it shouldn't be counted. Do you have any problem with that goal?
Yes, I have a lot of problem with that goal. So the goal Liverpool scored against Barcelona was as a result of the defense. Barcelona defense were caught off guard.
They were sleeping.
Liverpool defenders were not caught off guard. So So
are you saying it's an offside or it's not?
There was an error. I think the PGMO will still come out to talk about this goal, because this was the same goal. This same type of goal was disallowed in the Carabao Cup final. Yes, Cornwall was impeded by Wataru Endo, who was in an offside position, right? And Van Dijk scored the goal. The goal was ruled out before Van Dijk struck again. Ake was in an offside position and impeded McAllister. McAllister would have blocked that ball before it came to John Stones. So it was an error. Trust me, we are going to have a lot of debate on this, and whether you like it or not, I'm sure at the end of the season, the PGMO will sit down, the FA will sit down. They will know that they have made a mess of this season, whether they like it or not. Apparently, a lot of things are now normal in the Premier League. Stuck to the chest, stuck to the rib is now a normal contact in the EPL, which is wrong. So whether you like it or not, whether you see it as, oh, this guy is talking because he's a Liverpool fan, that goal should not have stood. You understand? But the powers that be, they didn't even review it.
I think they checked, but they were checking for the goal. Maybe the corner was out of the play before it rolled back in. That was what they checked.
That was what they were checking the wrong thing. You understand? I could remember sending off Curtis Jones. They did a slow motion like 10 times against Spurs, just to ensure that this guy gets a red card. But the same tackle was given to Gravenberch by Caicedo in the Carabao Cup. There was not even a review, not even a yellow to Caicedo. So whether you like it or not, the EPL, the PGMO, the FA, they have got it wrong this season. Maybe they will improve next season, but they have everybody has had their fair share of bad officiating and all that. But trust me, that goal shouldn't have counted.
Sam, you want to say something?
Well, I credit Kevin De Bruyne for such a fantastic football pass because that pass was out of this world.
I think it's a training ground. It's a training ground.
That was a training ground.
Because when the goalkeeper
move.
went in, Guardiola was pointing to the
set piece
trainer.
Yeah, because that was a training ground move. And honestly, I disagree with you concerning the fact that it was an offside, or whether Ake choked or blocked someone off. I totally disagree with you.
Okay.
Like Ake didn't have nothing to do with that ball.
Okay.
That ball was curved in back into that space where Stones had ran into, and it didn't have anything to do with that ball. And if you're talking about a mark, because what I saw in that from that clip was a zonal marking. Liverpool were trying to zone mark the Man City players in the box, which didn't work for them. And what happened was, you can tell me, what was the player again?
Ake.
No, the other
McAllister.
You can tell me McAllister is gonna, be the one marking John Stones.
Was
they're not the same height.
Was
They're not the
Ake?
same-
No. Was Ake in an offside position?
Let's get Pius'
Yes.
opinion on this goal. Because Liverpool fans online and on Twitter we've been saying that the goal shouldn't have counted, and it's an error. But I want to hear Pius. Pius, what's your take to that, please?
To be honest with you, I honestly didn't see anything wrong with that goal. And apart from Wale, I also heard someone else compare that goal to Leverkusen's own in the Carabao Cup final. And I think those two situations or scenarios are totally different. They are two totally different scenarios. First of the job of Nathan Ake, of McAllister, is to obstruct Nathan Ake.
Exactly.
And Nathan Ake obviously was in front of McAllister and not trying to push him. If you notice where he was standing, he was trying to obstruct McAllister from getting to the ball, which of course was what he was supposed to do. And like you rightly mentioned, this is something they practice in training. And then you must also give credit to the set piece taker. I think it was KDB who took that corner kick.
Yeah,
and
right.
that was the plan.
Go ahead, we can't hear you. All right, Pius. So, Wale, looking at the game,
Manu to just obstruct him and allow the John Stones get the ball, which was what they did, and it was a good goal for me. I actually saw nothing wrong with that.
okay. Going forward, Wale, let's move on with this goal. The game we saw an entertaining game from the both sides. Liverpool came out in the second half, and the penalty, which Alisson made a mess. I mean, Ake and Alisson gave the
Ederson.
Ederson, the pass which Ake gave to Ederson, which it was
Short
it was very, very short, and then the goal. There's no problem about that. Ederson, at the end of the day, left the pitch injured. Guys, let's talk about KDB's involvement in this City side. We saw when he was out, when Pep took him out. He was filming. He wasn't happy. He was showing a lot of reaction. The camera showed Pep again, going back to KDB. And is it this? I mean, back in the days, I think the coach is always in charge of this. I mean, the coach have this say. I think the players now are now getting in the hands of the coach, or I don't think, or is it because it's KDB you have this special treatment? I don't understand.
No, I think
Because this same thing happened in the Champions League last season when KDB
was substituted.
No, he wasn't even substituted. Pep was on the sideline talking to KDB, and he was telling
Shut up. You shut up.
I want you guys to talk about. I mean, do you guys see anything in that, Wale?
Well, it depends on how you react. I don't think you can blame anybody for how they react to how you treat them. You understand? Guardiola is the coach. If the result is good for Manchester City, he gets the accolades. If the result is bad, he gets the blame. You understand? But you can also blame KDB, for reacting the way he did. You understand? When a player gets substituted, they feel like, I still have a lot to contribute.
But obviously he wasn't contributing anything again.
I mean,
in that game, because at some point in the first half he was there, but the second half Liverpool came out. Endo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, the diamond midfield was choked, and there was nothing for KDB. At a point, there were some loose passes.
But don't forget that players like KDB,
they have their magical
in the game.
I accept that
they can
have
win you games.
Yeah.
You understand? So you can't blame him for reacting the way he did. He wanted to play, and Guardiola rightly said at the end of the game that he liked the way he reacted. It shows that he has the hunger to give more to the team. So I would say how you take it is what matters. Guardiola has taken it like, oh, but mind you, Guardiola is not the type of person that will go against KDB, because he's a very important player to that team.
100%.
He would come out and say, oh, he wasn't angry. He was just trying to show us that he wants to play more and give more to the team. But to some coaches, it's disrespectful. If you do that to
Eric Ten Hag.
I mean, a Ten Hag. I mean, KDB.
United are coming for you.
You understand? You look at the pedigree of Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, and KDB.
Yeah.
To an extent, Ronaldo is a bigger player.
Definitely.
So if you do that to a Ronaldo, who is KDB? Ten Hag will do that to a Ronaldo, and will say, "I'm calling the shot here." So sometimes the coach too has to put ego aside and be like, "This is one of my best players. Everything I've achieved has been built around this guy." So if he's not pleased with whatever decision, we can talk about it. We are adults. You understand? So I really don't see a big deal. It's how the coach reacts to it that matters. Guardiola isn't really. I don't think he has just taken it with a pinch of salt.
Pius, big deal or no big deal?
To me, I think it's all shade of arrogance. And I am surprised he's doing it to a coach like Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola is a manager that has shown us in recent time that he doesn't take nonsense. In fact, in this Manchester City side, the recent man to have done this to Pep Guardiola and then he has had to face the rod has to be Cancelo. If you look at where Cancelo is today, he's at Barcelona. It is not because he didn't leave City because of footballing reasons. He left City because of his attitude. And he is one manager. In fact, the only player remaining from this Manchester, the only player remaining from the City side Pep inherited has to be KDB. He has flushed out every other person in the City side inherited. So it tells you how big of a man manager he is. Coaches like Pep Guardiola, even Antonio Conte.
We lost you for a moment. Go ahead, Pius. Yeah. You're talking about Antonio Conte, right? Pius. Well, Wale.
We all know Manchester City is not Manchester City without KDB, right?
You want to add something, Sam?
I think they all mentioned.
Go ahead, Pius.
Pius.
Can you hear me?
Now,
yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So I was gonna say as even coaches like Antonio Conte, we saw what he did with Diego Costa. Diego Costa was a big figure at Chelsea when he had issues with him. So this manager has not do this. I think for KDB, it was quite. I wouldn't be surprised if Pep Guardiola puts KDB to the bench in the next game. I wouldn't be surprised if
against us now.
So I think KDB was quite arrogant. In fact, if you notice at some point, Pep went to meet him on the bench. He was still trying to explain to him, and he was still questioning the manager. Again, I don't think I would be surprised if he doesn't play the next game.
Sorry, Pius. Do you think Pep would have gone to Doku to explain why he substituted him?
No way.
If KDB wasn't important?
No, I'm not saying no. His importance cannot be questioned. It's very important to this City side. But then again, you cannot also question the man management of Pep Guardiola. I don't think Pep Guardiola. In fact, if Pep Guardiola is even to an extent respecting KDB, he would have taken him out in the first place. If you look at some managers, when they look at players that they respect a whole lot, they don't take them out, regardless of how poor they are on the field of play. They allow them play. But Pep Guardiola still. This is not the first time he's taking KDB out. He's taking KDB out a couple of games this season.
Yeah, I don't think they're taking out today has to do with respect, though.
If he feels so bad, I understand the side of the player. He wants to play every game, but then I remember what the commentator said. Immediately KDB was taken out. The commentator said KDB was filming. Okay, use the word is because at that point in time he was filming. KDB is filming but then you cannot be bigger than the club. You can also be bigger than the manager who manages the club. That was what the commentator said, and I agree with him 100%. And you cannot also be bigger than Pep Guardiola. He has shown us in recent time that, in fact, at Barcelona, Larry can testify to this. At Barcelona, when he came in, you saw what he did to your big players. He's a manager that does not fear big players. So if he can decide not to even play KDB again, and nothing will happen. That's how big he is of a manager. So I think they will just iron things out. But if it is not something they can iron things out, they will just probably put him on the bench and let him learn his lesson the hard way.
All right, well, guys, let's move on. But moving on, I just want us to talk about the league right now. Manchester City are third in the league.
Yes.
Liverpool second with the same points. Together with Arsenal. Arsenal at the top of the league with the same point of Liverpool, 64, Manchester City 63. Now, with the way things are, I asked the guys right here, Sam and Wale, that who is going to win the league. And Wale gave me the prediction of, he said, Liverpool is going to be the winner, Man City will be second, Arsenal will be third. Meanwhile, Sam gave us the prediction for Manchester City will be they are going to win the EPL for the fifth time. Is it the fourth time, right? For the fourth time in a row. Liverpool second and Arsenal third. Pius, do you agree with this prediction? And who are you rooting for?
I'll give it to Liverpool. I'll give it to Liverpool. And then closely followed by Arsenal. I think it will be a very, very tight gap, maybe a point, 2 points differential between both teams. And then the third on my list would be Manchester City. I think that's how the league will end, because I'm looking at the games these three teams have, and I think Liverpool have the easiest fixtures going into the end of the season. I think Arsenal have a couple of tough fixtures. Manchester City also do have. Manchester City, they're shaky form, conceding goals left and center. I think they'll probably be shaky towards the end of the season. But then, for the fact that the Jurgen Klopp will be leaving at the end of the season, and then this never say die attitude that comes to Liverpool whenever they're on top towards the end of the season, that's why I would want to fancy Liverpool to win the league. And then some of their other players injured might be back before the end of the season. So everything playing together, just tweeting towards one direction. I think Liverpool will win the league. This will be a send-forth for Jurgen Klopp. And then maybe doing the quadruple is what I don't know. But for the league title, I think they'll do it, followed by Arsenal and Manchester City. So for me, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, in that order.
Okay. Yeah. Sam, why did you choose Manchester City to win the league?
First off, I was going to touch base real quick on what Pius said about easy fixtures in the Premier League. First off, I want to say that's false. There is not an easy fixture in the English Premier League. It can be anywhere else in the league, in the world, but I think in the Premier League there is not an easy fixture in the Premier League. I think I favor Man City to win this league because they have shown it time,
experience.
year and year over how they can go
Liverpool to have the
10,
experience.
13 games without losing a game. But then I'm picking Liverpool to go second because they do have injury limitations. They have to manage their players well, and some players don't return until April. You don't know how much things could go bad between March and April. But then I still keep them second because they have a higher opportunity, because Arsenal has a very about 4 tricky fixtures ahead. They have Chelsea. I mean, the game with Chelsea was supposed to be coming up next, but it was postponed
because of the FA Cup.
Yeah, because of the FA Cup. But then that is going to be a very tricky game. And then the postponement, I don't think there's a date yet.
So you feel Chelsea will grab a point?
I think Chelsea will impact the way they end the season. And ask me why. The reason is this: because Chelsea plays better when they play teams that are better with the ball. Because Chelsea, when they are with the ball, when they get the ball all through the game, they don't know what to do with the ball. So their best chances of playing a better football, if you look at their games this season, their best games have come against teams, that play better football. So I think Chelsea has, could impact. The game against Chelsea could impact the way the season ends with Arsenal. And then they have a Tottenham. A Tottenham who is like,
and Postecoglou is balling right now.
Yeah, Hang is balling. Tottenham without Hang would die. They would rather die than see Arsenal lift the EPL. So, that's another huge feat for them to challenge. And then they still have Manchester City, which is their next game. So Manchester City is still there. That is going to be an interesting game that will actually pivot this entire title contest in a way, from my own view.
Okay.
I feel like the game against Arsenal and Man City
And Arsenal.
will pivot the way things go. And then I think the last game of which is Manchester United. Those 4 games are very, very tricky to for Arsenal. And I think at this point it's a matter of maturity and experience for Arsenal. Like at this point, I will rule out form, and these 4 games, the rest of the season, it's all about maturity and experience.
Wow. Wale, maturity, experience, form, fixtures, all these. Liverpool, they have all these.
That was the reason why I chose
So
Liverpool.
is that why you choose Liverpool to win
Yeah,
the league?
so when it comes to maturity, I think Arsenal too has the maturity now. They did it last season.
The experience today?
I mean Arsenal.
Yeah.
They contended last season, right?
Right.
Even though they came short, they lost due some matches, but they now have the experience. You can see the games they usually lose and draw, even at home and away, they win them conveniently. They trash teams now. They know how to win. Even when they play ugly, they win games now. So they have the experience. Liverpool, whether they play with the academy or the first 11, they already have the experience and they have the mentality. Man City, they are known for the Premier League experience. So the 3 teams have it. Form, Man City has not lost in 3 months. 3 good months. Yeah. Liverpool has not lost in 1 month. Arsenal, they have the momentum right now. So I see week 20, we're in week 28 now. Yeah. Week 29 will be a rearrangement of the team.
And there are some domestic, there are some European competitions in between. For the 3 teams.
The 3 teams have, their, respective competitions. But I would say, regardless of those European competitions, I would say the fixtures will be the determinant. The fixtures in the sense that I think 2 difficult games Liverpool has is to go to Old Trafford and win, and to beat Everton. Those are and Everton, we all know they are not in form right now. We play it as a friendly derby, you understand? Even though it's not going to be easy, but we'll win, you understand? Manchester City, Arsenal will go away to win Manchester City.
Really?
Those are the type of games that win you the
claim.
title. If Arsenal are lucky, maybe before the game a lot of things can happen, as he said. Maybe Manchester City have their key players injured, and Arsenal goes there and probably nick one and defend.
Smash and grab.
If Arsenal could go next EPL and go to the Etihad to win the game, I would give them the title. I would I'll give up. You understand? Because that will give them enough confidence that if we can beat the champion right at their backyard, we can beat anybody, regardless of whether you want to spoil our party or whatever. But then, if you look at fixtures, they still have Tottenham, just as he said rightly. Tottenham would rather die. An average Tottenham fan would rather die than see Arsenal win the league. They interviewed Kai Walker 3 days ago before the EPL today. He said he would rather have Liverpool win the league than Arsenal, carry the trophy. That is a big statement coming from a Manchester City player, but who is a Spurs fan. Now imagine what it means to a Spurs fan against Arsenal. You understand? And that is going to be tough for Arsenal.
He was there when Arsenal defeated in the first leg. Now.
Yes, he was there, but
speaking about.
I'm talking about what these players want. Whether you like it or not, these oppositions that we are going to play have their favorites too among the 3 title contenders. Whether you like it or not, I could remember a certain victory for Crystal Palace, and some of the boys sent a shot in the dressing room to Virgil van Dijk saying, "Bro, we did the job." Like the Dutch boys. So some of these guys are playing again. Look at the way Ben White. Was it Ben White? There's this Arsenal player that plays in Nottingham Forest. If you watch the game between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, there was this particular, is it Gibbs White or something?
Gibbs White.
Look at what he played against Liverpool. So that's to tell you that whether you like it or not, whether they are being professional or not, these oppositions that we are playing next have their favorites among the 3 of us. So I don't think the fixtures favor Arsenal, but anything can happen. It doesn't mean that they cannot win. You understand? They don't have to win 3-0, maybe 1-0, 2-0, but I feel based on fixtures, Liverpool has the edge. Liverpool have all their players coming back in April. Basetic was in training. Jota is already doing his rehabilitation. And Alisson isn't as serious as they said because it's just an hamstring and he's going to be back in April. And that is when we need these players to come. And we know that Manchester City can go 10 games without a loss. Liverpool can go 10 without a loss. Even Arsenal too. They have shown it they can do it. So, but the fixtures will now tell us whether you can win them or not. So I think Liverpool, that was why I chose Liverpool to actually win the league.
Well, talking about Arsenal right now, Pius, we saw the game which they played on Saturday against Brentford. With the match winner, Kai Havertz, he's been very consistent for the past 4-5 matches now. Could it have been the way Arteta is using him now is the best fit for Kai Havertz? Let me fast track to the beginning of the season. Kai Havertz was playing in the midfield, the Shaka role. But right now, I think Kai Havertz now found his momentum. The stone which the builder, when I say the builder now, Chelsea fans, that they reject, now is the cornerstone for us now. Pius.
Well, it will be it will be a cornerstone if you want them the Champions League.
Let's hear from. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, it will be a cornerstone if Kai Havertz, won them the Champions League because from a Chelsea point of view, I took a Champions League trophy and I took a profit from Kai Havertz sale. So yeah, true. So I didn't lose. It's not a loss for me. It's a win for me. But considering the fact that the system that Arteta has in place, at Arsenal right now, it favors any sort of goal scoring striker or goal scoring player, to thrive. Because when you have the likes of Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka coming in and springing the balls at you, no matter who is in that center mid, even if center forward role, even if it's Trossard. In fact, you can pull, for all I care, you can pull a Raya up front there, and he will deliver. Because look at the style of play, look at the system. When you see the like of Saka coming in, you see Ben White coming in behind him. It's like the pressure. And then you see the likes of Odegaard and Rice.
So are you now failing? You are failing to give credit to Havertz, giving the credit to the way Arsenal play.
Yeah, I'm giving the credit to the way Arsenal plays, and then I'm not taking credit away from Havertz either because while he was at Chelsea, while he was at Chelsea, he was good. Don't get me wrong, he was good. But the system, wasn't for him. So that system derailed him from his consistency. So, and when the player is not consistent, the fans want a consistent player. They want to see goals. They want you to, come out and, give us goals. They want 3 points.
Are you part of the fans that were throwing shade at Kai Havertz when he was at Chelsea?
I'll say,
Confession time.
I threw shade at him at a certain point
Thank
because
you.
I expected certain things.
Kai Havertz got the winning goal for Arsenal yesterday. That stone where Chelsea fan, you and your fellow Chelsea fan rejected, is now the cornerstone for Arsenal. Pius, what more can we say about Kai Havertz?
He never become cornerstone.
Yeah, go ahead. So I think Kai Havertz is giving Arsenal a new dimension to their game.
The cornerstone.
Okay.
He also has to win either the Premier League or the Champions League. Larry, I say this again. If they end up trophyless this season, then the old money it has just been waste. Because from last season, they are supposed to be an upgrade to this side. And an upgrade means going one step further than what they did last season. Last season, they ended second. Anything other than second, anything other than first this season, it will be a total failure. Because that means they will have done nothing. They wouldn't have upgraded the side. Because if you say something is an upgrade, that means it is going one step further than it was before that particular stuff came in. So I probably wouldn't start really meaning to it until they win a trophy. And I would also give credit to Mikel Arteta. If you look at the side, like Sam rightly said, the system really is doing Havertz a lot of favor. He has scored 8 goals in the Premier League this season, and then the front 3 or front 4. In fact, everybody up front, even Declan Rice has scored 6 goals in the Premier League this season. Trossard has scored 7 goals.
Anyways, guys, before we end this podcast, I just want us to talk about what happened yesterday against, in the Brentford game, Arsenal and then Brentford. Ramsdale. Ramsdale came in yesterday. He got the goal which Brentford were able to, when they came back, it ended. Which gave them a 1 goal. Ramsdale make that error. I saw so many comments about, Ramsdale that now they should use seat belts to put him back on the bench. That he shouldn't come. They don't want to see him. And Ramsdale had to play that game because Raya is match tie. He's still a Brentford player.
True.
Guys, what's your opinion to that? As a goalkeeper, do you think Ramsdale is that worse? Do you think is that? Because to me, this is my own opinion. I think the match fitness, the momentum is not there.
Yeah.
Ramsdale is not a bad goalkeeper. That could happen to any other person. Mm-hmm. You understand? It could happen to any other goalkeeper. Ramsdale and Raya, they are 2 different goalkeepers. They are not the same. Mm-hmm. Ramsdale is a shot stopper, but Raya
is a ball player.
Exactly.
Goalkeeper.
You understand? So I don't want. The situation whereby I saw it online that Arsenal fans, no, Raya is a bad. He can't just be bad goalkeeper overnight. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Then we hear the podcast.
I think that was being extreme because when we look at the games in the past too for Raya, who is against Chelsea, the Modric goal shouldn't be going in. Even if we call that a fluke, regardless, that shouldn't be going in. If you were doing your job rightly. So I won't fault Ramsdale. Because when was the last time he's played a Premier League game?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so the momentum, like you said, isn't there. And there's something we call match orientation, match fitness. You have to have a certain level of match readiness to be able to combat, especially in high intensity games like that. Because we all know Brentford doesn't care where you are on the table or the pedigree of your team. They are going to come charging at you. So you see the way Wisa was charging him down,
right?
And for a player who is not, with the momentum wasn't there for a player, the confidence is very low. The confidence, isn't the same. Isn't on the same level. So, stuff like that also play. There are factors, into, match selection at the end of the day.
Right.
And, it all comes down to, how is Arteta managing that department? Exactly.
Wale, let me just say yourself.
Oh, well, I feel he has said it all. Match rustiness, also the fact that, he has not been playing, which caused that. Also because... I think it's also a psychological thing, being a number 1 and then being relegated for no reason at all, because he wasn't doing badly. To me, even in the game against Brentford, he saved them.
Yeah.
There was a ball that was shot from maybe 60 yards.
Abatoni.
That ball could have gone in. We've seen the likes of Peter Cech conceding such a good goal. He still saved them. But you don't have a choice when whoever is in charge or at the helms of affair doesn't want you. There's nothing you can do. The best is probably to pack your bags and leave.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been Gold Rush Report Podcast on Gold Rush Report TV with Larry, Sammy, and Wale. The prediction game is still going on. Predict the winner of the UEFA Champions League and, drop it in our YouTube channel. Tell us who's going to be the winner of this year's Champions League and stand a chance to win a brand new PlayStation 5.
PS5.
And when you listen to this podcast, don't be selfish. Send it to your soccer lovers as well. Let them too enjoy what you've been enjoying and drop your comments and your likes. Your reviews are welcome on this podcast as well. Thank you very much for staying up and listening and watching this podcast. Till we meet again next week, have a lovely week ahead of you. Bye.
Bye.